In the 2026 Royal Rumble, Bron Breakker entered at number 2, and mid-entrance he was attacked by a hooded figure. And the classic Triple H move, a hooded figure attacking someone. So in this video, I'm just basically going to be going over who I think it could be, who I think it's most likely to be, and who it's probably not. Let's get right into it. Starting off with the obvious one, Seth Rollins. I think this is obviously who they want us to think, but they also wanted us to think that when that masked man attacked CM Punk at War Games, that obviously ended up not being him. It ended up being Austin Theory. However, this time around, I do think it is a lot more likely that it's Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins, his shoulder appears to be almost healed, like almost completely healed, and there's been reports saying like he hopes to be around by WrestleMania season. So I'm thinking the next few weeks this probably won't get revealed, just like the Austin Theory thing, and then eventually it will get revealed like around Elimination Chamber time. I do think it is quite likely that this is Seth Rollins. However, I don't think he's the most likely option, simply because of one picture that I'll get into in just a minute. But yeah, I think this is who they want us to think, and it is a very likely possibility. However, the person under the mask was definitely not Seth Rollins, because that stomp was absolute garbage. It could be just like a body double, like being like representing Seth Rollins. So I don't think the person under the mask there was Seth Rollins, but I think it is pretty likely that it is Seth Rollins who will be revealed to be the person. Because I think the obvious path now for WrestleMania would be Bron Breakker versus Seth Rollins and CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But I do think it is most likely this person, Logan Paul, and it is simply because of one picture, and that one picture being this. You can clearly see, we already know it's a white dude, but you can also see it does look like they have like a lightly colored beard maybe, and obviously Logan Paul fits that exact criteria. So I think it is most likely Logan Paul, and it would make sense just, because he's Logan Paul. Maybe he's working with Seth Rollins along with Austin Theory. I don't know. But yeah, I think Logan Paul is the most likely option, but I think it would be pretty boring if they went with Logan Paul. Hey, so this is Future Sawyer here, and I saw a tweet. I'm recording this on February 1st, and I'm going to upload it on February 2nd. So I saw a tweet saying that it could be Logan Paul, because if you remember when the Masked Man was taking out the Vision in December and at War Games and stuff, Jake Paul said something big is coming when he was asked about that. Obviously it ended up being Austin Theory, not Jake Paul, but I saw a tweet about that, and it looks exactly like Jake Paul, so I am changing my answer from Logan Paul to Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul is the most likely option. Another option would be Sami Zayn. Obviously, he has a lightly colored beard, and I think it would be interesting because Sami has always been the goody two-shoes, always been the underdog, even though he's literally not an underdog. And I think that it would be like, if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. I think that would be a really interesting narrative, to where he's gotten to the point where he just can't win as a babyface no matter what he does. So that then he just has to end up turning heel, and then around WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble next year, he turns babyface again and wins the world title. So, I mean, I do think there is a realistic chance, but I feel like if it was Sami Zayn, they would have revealed it then and there, because I think it would have been interesting to see him turn heel in Saudi Arabia. I think that would be interesting, but yeah, it could be Sami Zayn. The next potential option is CM Punk. I think this would also be a little bit boring, but it would kind of make sense just, because him and Bron Breakker are feuding, obviously, and maybe like wanting to just get revenge or troll him or something. I don't know, but he also has a lightly colored beard, so albeit I don't think it's very likely, I think there's a chance that it is CM Punk. This one is very unlikely, but AJ Styles potentially could be an option. We know that it's like a really skinny guy. Like, it might have looked even too skinny to be Seth Rollins. AJ Styles is a little bit bigger, but I think it could have been him, maybe. I obviously don't think it's very likely because he did just retire, but who knows? Maybe it was all a work, and I don't know. Maybe it was all a work, and he just didn't retire, and he's going to start feuding with Bron Breakker. Who knows? And Austin Theory, I think he could be another option. Also not very likely, though. I think it would be extremely lame if they just had it be Austin Theory 2 times in a row. But I could totally see WWE doing that. But it would kind of make sense because Austin Theory, I still don't think he's like truly with the Vision. The only reason I really don't think it is him, because the only reason I really don't think it's him is because that stomp was terrible and it looked nothing like the Austin Theory stomps we saw at War Games and the Raws after that. And last but certainly not least, this is a contender for the most likely option, Mark Henry. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, who you think could be, if there's anyone I missed. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want, and